Good morning, YouTube and the metaverse and beyond. Well, what a bloody lovely day. They reckon it's going to be a high of 30 degrees today. And you know what? I'll take that all day long. Thank you. So, for anybody that's not clicked on one of my videos before, welcome to all. So, my name is Lee. I'm 54. I'm a development test rider. And predominantly for over 1 million miles, I was a test rider for Triumph motorcycles. And this beautiful rocket was one of the bikes that was part of my working day in the era where I was working for Triumph. And it is my number 5 in my top 5 Triumphs of all time. And I've ridden a lot of Triumphs for a lot of miles, but this bike, oh my God, it just brings back so many memories of a bike that was just causing so much excitement within Triumph. It was easily one of the most over-engineered bikes in Triumph history, I think, you know, with what went into this bike. Unfortunately, for me, as a test rider, when this bike came to fruition and it started its life as a prototype, I was in a wheelchair due to Triumph throwing me into a car at 52 miles an hour on another prototype, and I spent nearly 6 months in a wheelchair and another 3 or 4 months recuperating. Oh yes, please! So this bike was being developed while unfortunately I was recuperating, but I did get to ride it when I came back to Triumph, because it was delayed with everything that went into this bike. It didn't get done in its project time. It overran, and that was probably the luckiest thing for me. When I came back to Triumph in 2019, this bike was close to the end of its development, but it wasn't quite there, and I got put on the Tiger 900 for the duration of that. I didn't actually think I was going to get to do any miles on this bike, but I did. And I gotta say, the day that I jumped on this bike was probably one of the best days of my life. Now on that day, it was the 19th of November 2019, and unfortunately I'd gone back on the sick because my hip had failed. They originally bolted my hip, and 30,000 miles into the Tiger 900 and my hip failed. So I spent the summer sitting there miserable, waiting for my new hip. And my new hip came in October, the end of October. And around the 16th of October, I was taken in and I was given a carbon fibre hip. 4 weeks later, I was physically fit for work. And my wife, bless her soul, she was actually working on the Triumph rocket in the time that I was off, and I wasn't jealous much, I'm not going to lie. Every day she used to ride off. I used to think she looked like a small child that had stole this massive motorcycle. I got myself fit for work within 4 weeks of having this new hip, and they said to me, unfortunately, the next prototype of the Tiger 900 isn't ready yet, but if you really want to come back to work, then maybe you could share with Hayley and you could take it in turns and do a bit on the rocket. And I was like, yes please, we'll have some of that. And I turned around to my good wife and I says, apparently we've got to share, and I'm going to take your bike. And she looked me square in the eye and told me to beep off. So I smiled and I went, come on, it's my birthday. My birthday is on November the 19th, and that's why I remember that day so prolifically. So she smiled and she says, do you know what, because it's your birthday, I will let you take the mighty rocket. So we did, and I'm not going to lie, I had a day of having far too much fun. And on that day, something happened that gave me an accolade that no other man on this planet will ever achieve. We'll come back to that a little bit later. But let's get back to the beautiful rocket. So this one belongs to a friend of mine, and he says to me, Lee, if you really want to take my rocket out, I'd explained I wanted to do a series of videos of my top 5 Triumphs, this being number 5. And he says, do you know what, you're welcome to take my rocket anytime you want. So I did, and I've got it, and I gotta say, I bloody love it. Just the comfort of it. I mean, you look at the rocket, and yes, it's a formidable size. It just, you know, some people, it scares them to even look in its direction, but it is a very rider friendly bike, and that was the one thing that we needed to achieve at Triumph with the update from the original rocket, because the original rocket was a beautiful looking bike, you know, and a formidable size, and it'd go like stonk in a straight line, but you try and get that bloody thing round a bend and it just would not. You would have to fight it tooth and nail to get it to go around a bend at any sort of pace. So it was a bike that I never gelled with, I never really liked. Yes, you know, to stand there and look at it, it's a beautiful bike, but when I rode it, and when I rode my first rocket, I was like, it killed a dream instantly. It was like, it wasn't the experience I was expecting to get. So when it came about that they were going to redo the rocket, you know, for us as test riders, it was the fact that we really needed to make a rocket that not only went fast in a straight line, but would just ride with so much confidence and ease. And I can remember on the top of my first report that I did on the rocket, I'd put in big capital letters, finally a rocket that corners. And that just sort of sums up exactly everything about this bike, you know. It will corner like a sports bike without having to manhandle it, you know. She will tip into a bend and she will track that corner beautifully. And straight away I knew that Triumph had achieved what they set out to achieve, and they really had. Yes, there's a few things on here I don't like about this bike, and we'll get to that in a bit. But on the whole, do you know what? It's just absolutely bloody beautiful. Just a beautiful bike. And I've got to say, he definitely picked the best colour scheme. This one has the forward controls on it, and I've got to say, out of the two variations, you've got a mid-peg variation of the rocket, and you've got the forward pegs. I prefer the foot pegs at the front. It just gives you a better comfort in the rump, because you've sort of leant back into this beautiful sculpture seat that just like a big suction cup on your buttocks, and it just makes it so damn comfortable. I could do 500 mile a day, no problem, on this bike, you know, and just get off it with no aches and pains at all. And I know, because I've done it, and I did it with a brand new whip. Even the brakes, even the brakes are just, they just feel so confident, inspiring, you know. Pulling this big beast up, getting it around islands, it's just so easy to ride. Oh, listen to that engine. Oh, I need to win the lottery, because you know what, when I win the lottery, I'm going to buy my 5 top trumps. And I will live happily ever after with all 5 of those bikes. So in the course of this series, I am going to try and get my hands on the other 4, because I really would like to review them and just get across why they make me feel the way they make me feel. And I did a lot of bikes, a lot of models at Triumph, but there is 5 that really stand out to me. And yeah, this, even though I didn't do a lot in production on this bike, and I really didn't compared to a lot of other models, it's one that's just cemented itself to my heart, you know, for a lot of reasons, because it is just absolutely sublime. just it gives me goosebumps on the back of my neck. Even filtering through traffic is just, do you know what? She handles so lovely. She's so balanced. I'm not gonna sit in this traffic. I'm gonna go down this road here, get out of the traffic, go and have a copper and just look at this bike. stare at its beauty for a bit and just reminisce to, everything about it that's good. Like I say, in development there's always something that could be better or should be better or needs to be better, and for me there is a few things on this bike I wish they'd have done differently, but that's what development is, you know. So if they choose to take the advice of their test riders. Let's have a look at Idle Talk. If anybody's never been to Idle Talk near Lutterworth at Coates Batch, come and have a look. It's a beautiful place. It really is. The beautiful Idle Talk. It's a cracking little complex of units. There's a blacksmith over there, a cafe there, people living there, butchers there, and they do their bike night. There isn't one this week. It starts next month. They do it on a Saturday. Wow, you don't get here early. And I love the fact it's on a Saturday because more people come out. It just becomes music and barbecues, and yeah, it's bloody amazing. Right, let me make sure I zip this bloody key away. Even on a little bit of gravel tracking, she's so easy to just control, and it is getting warm now. So it was nice to have a little bit of 5 minutes catch up and have a drink. But let's get back to talking about this beautiful rocket. I mean, Hayley, bless her, she is 5 foot nothing, and she loved riding this bike. At times she'd be parked up somewhere, somebody would come up to her and say, yes, where's the rider? And she'd say, what do you mean where's the rider? I am the rider. And they'd sort of look her up and down, look at this bike and go, you're joking. And she'd go, no, it's absolutely a beautiful bike to ride, even for a short person. Even though when try and put her on the bike, it did end up costing them a lot of money, because she found a problem with the bike that nobody else had found at that point. Because my wife is 5 foot nothing and she's got little short legs, when they put her on the rocket, what they hadn't realised was the heat shields were too short, the way they covered the 3 downpipes from the cylinder head. So the first time she rode it, she melted a bloody leg to it. Well, she melted her rucker suit to it, which firstly was an expensive mistake by Triumph, because they had to replace the rucker trousers, which cost 700 quid. But also the tooling had already been signed off for the heat shields, the original ones. Once the tooling is signed off for any component on a motorcycle, that's when the expense has been laid out, because the tooling is the expensive part, because then you've committed to it being production parts. So the heat shields were too short, because what they hadn't realised was that a 5 foot nothing woman with very short legs, the heat shields that they designed didn't actually, or they weren't fit for purpose. So they had to redesign them, redo the tooling and reincur that cost. So yeah, that was an expensive production mistake by Triumph, and just goes to show why it's important that they have short-arsed female development test riders, because you know what, they find problems that us big fat bulky men don't. Do you know what, that's what test riding development is all about for test riders. It's finding problems or giving feedback on things that might not affect other riders, or other riders might not pick up. Every single Triumph I've ever worked on, the throttle is just sublime. I mean, this is in sports mode, and it just, when it comes to slow manoeuvring and negotiating islands and, you know, whatever you throw at this bike, that throttle is just sublime. And I'm going to find somewhere to pull up and we'll have a look. We'll all have a look and stare in amazement of her beauty and have a chat about the mighty Rocket. Wow, yeah, like I said, what a lovely day. And here she is. Oh my God, do you know what? I fell in love all over again, and I definitely need to win the lottery, because this is a bike I would love to have in my garage. Oh, just what a machine. And it is probably one of Triumph's most overdeveloped motorcycles that they've ever done, and it tells in the quality, from the ride to the look to the finish. And yeah, do you know what? It's one that I love, and that's why it's my number 5 bike.
The beautiful Rocket has a 2.458 cc Inline 3-cylinder engine. That's not a typo. 2,458 cubic centimeters. It's the largest production motorcycle engine from a major manufacturer, and it delivers a monstrous 180 horsepower at 7,000 RPM and an incredible 225 Newton meters of torque at just 4,000 RPM. Now, numbers on a spec sheet are one thing, but twist the throttle on the Rocket free and you'll understand why this bike has become a legend. The acceleration is brutal. Triumph claims a 0 to 60 time of around 2.7 seconds. And honestly, it feels every bit that fast. Power is sent through a slick 6-speed gearbox and a low-maintenance shaft drive, making this giant muscle bike surprisingly easy to live with. Underneath, you got a lightweight aluminum frame paired with premium Showa suspension. Up front, a fully adjustable 47mm upside-down forks, while the rear gets a fully adjustable monoshock with remote preload adjustment. Stopping power comes from top-shelf Brembo Stylema brakes with cornering ABS, and despite weighing over 317 kilograms wet, the Rocket free handles far better than a bike this size has any right to. The tire setup is equally ridiculous. A 150 section front tire and a massive 240 section rear tire give this machine a stance that's impossible to ignore. Seat height is a surprisingly acceptable 773 millimeters, while the fuel tank holds 18 liters, giving you decent range for long distance cruising. Technology is exactly where you'd expect it to be. In 2026, you get traction control, cruise control, cornering ABS, hill hold control, keyless ignition, LED lighting in the full color TFT display with multiple riding modes including road, rain, sport and rider. But here's the thing.
Things I don't like. So for a start, one of the things that aesthetically it never pleased me were the clocks. And I always wanted to see 2 nice big retro looking clocks. And yes, they could have been like a TFT retro clock, you know, but 2 big round individual clocks for me just would have made this bike that little bit more sexy. I can live with the clocks that's on it. It doesn't mean I like them. They're the same clocks that are on my Scrambler, and they pretty much came from the Scrambler because the Scrambler was developed before this bike.
So yeah, for me that's one of my big pet hates with this bike is the clocks. Now the other one is the keyless ignition, and it's, you know, it's the same with my scrambler. It just bugs me all the bloody time, because do you know what, I still need a key. I still need a key for the bloody fuel tank. I still need a key to take the seat off. But more so than anything, I got nowhere to put the key but in my pocket. And I'm terrible for not doing my bloody pockets up. So I'm forever patting my pocket thinking, where's them bloody keys? And I stress about the keys rather than worrying about the ride. So for me, give me a key ignition, let me put the key in it. I'm happy with that. I think keyless was just a bit of a gimmick. It's a bit of a fad. Do you know what? I'm sure it makes your bike more nickable, and it's not for me.
So, I mean, look at the size of the tank on this. Oh, she's so voluptuous. Well, I'm going to carry on riding some twisty roads. Unfortunately, I have to take it back. I can't just park it in my garage. And I always thought the candy red was my favourite colour. But I've got to say, I think this bike is absolutely stunning in the silver, the black and the red. Absolutely stunning. And it is a bike with that Triumph quality, and it's a quality, do you know what, I was always proud of. I really was, and to a certain extent I still am. You know, no matter what happened between myself and Triumph and how it all ended, I'm very proud of every single motorcycle that I've ever had a part of developing, putting miles on, giving feedback for, you know. And those bikes, they will be around for years to come, way after I'm gone. So maybe that's a little bit of a legacy for me to leave behind, is the fact that I put blood, sweat, tears and broken bones into these machines, and loved every damn minute. Every damn minute. Why wouldn't you? Oh, was that Nationals? Finally, a rocket that corners like a sports bike. Love the ergonomics of this bike. The bars, they're a good, wide, sturdy bar, and just a little bit of input. Just a little bit of input, and this bike goes where you want it to go. It counter steers beautifully. When you look at it, it shouldn't do it. When you look at this bike, you should think, oh my god, it's going to be like the original one. It's going to be such a pig to actually get to bloody ride it. And she's not. She's so sublime. And the noise that engine makes, it's just addictive. For me, there's just enough switchgear on this bike so it's not fussy. I hate lots of switches that just make a bike feel like it's overkill. There's just too much to be pressing and switching, you know. You've got your mode button, you've got your lights, you've got your cruise control, you've got your heated grips, you know. And on this hand, it should how it should be. This hand just wants to twist and go. You start, you stop, you've got your hazard lights, and you've got your steering lock. As this bike has an electronic steering lock, and I think that was a good upgrade for this bike. I really do. It just, you know, gives you that little bit more finesse. She's beautiful, absolutely bloody beautiful. And it's got one of them what looks like overkill rear tyres on it, you know. It's absolutely bloody massive, but it's so easy to get to the edge of it. It really is, because like I say, this rocket will handle like a sports bike. You can throw it into the bends and she just tracks beautifully, you know. I'm in fourth gear, I'm just tickling it, you know. Oh dear. Oh, now you can see why I got the accolade I got. The accolade that I have that no other man on this planet can ever get with the rocket is
out of 1,000,000 miles that I did for Triumph, I only ever got one speeding ticket, and it was on this damn bike on my birthday, 2019, 19th of November. The day my wife let me take this out for my first day back to work with my new hip. And because it was an early prototype, it didn't have any traction control on it, had no sort of rider modes. It was just an early prototype. And she was basically testing the turn-by-turn sat-nav. And she was doing that on the Rocket. That's where it was. So it was just an early bike. They wanted to test that system. But the fact it had no traction control just made it a little bit more exciting. And I found out very quickly that in a straight line, if you just snap the throttle, you would leave a big black line down the road. And at the time when I was having far too much fun for any one person, yeah, I snapped that throttle, I left that big black line just as I went past the speed van. In fact, I was having so much fun, I didn't even see the damn speed camera van. He got me at 34 miles an hour, but I reckon the back wheel was doing at least 80 plus. I am officially the first man on the planet to get 3 points and a £60 fine on the mighty Rocket.
Now, I get it's not the best accolade to have, but I'll take it, because you know what? I did over 1,000,000 miles for Triumph, and I only ever got one speeding ticket, and that was on this baby, and I'll take it all day long. Hey!
Back a buddy out for a ride, leather on, grin so wide, living his best life on number 5. Chrome car clean in the sun, one hand loose, hot on run, mighty Rocket under him. Ready, set, begin. Hear her growl, hear her shake, every mile he'll take. Back a buddy out for a ride. Back a buddy out for a ride. Living his best life, no lie, let that rocket fly. Hear her roar, feel that blast, dominates the tarmac.
Wow, do you know what? I'm going to end that video there today with a smile on my face. And do you know what? I feel like I've rejuvenated my soul. I really do. But as ever, stay safe out there. Stay safe. Never ride faster than your angel can fly. Have fun.
He was born